Today, I'm going to tell you a story about a group of people and their trip through the woods and the really bizarre events that happened at the village that they found along the way. And be sure that you stay until the end of the video because you're really going to want to hear the twist to this story. But before we get into today's story, invite the like button out to a trail in the woods of your own. But halfway through the trail, douse them with a bunch of sap and then unleash a box of wasps upon them. And if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious, then go subscribe to the real Mr. Balin. He actually does this normally. This is a one-off Halloween special for me. So if you want that, go to him. And also subscribe here for other stuff. Okay, let's get into today's story. In late 2018, a group of friends found themselves in a pretty tense situation while they were on a hike through a snowy forest one day. One of the friends, Aaron, his dad Shannon, got into a bit of an altercation with one of the other people in the group, Jason. They had an argument, it got physical, and Shannon took off, and he took off in the main vehicle that they had. He just left. And he didn't completely leave them alone or stranded. Again, Jason was there, and he's an adult that can, look after the group. But there was also another older person in the group, Melissa, who was an older lady. Unfortunately, Jason was suffering from alcoholism, and he also had the, still reeling from the negative emotions of the fight with Shannon. And they weren't entirely stranded either. One of the friends in the group, Barbara, had a motorcycle that she was able to, she could get around with, but it didn't really work in this situation because she was the only one that knew how to drive it, and she could only, at most, carry one or two other people on it at a time, so going back and forth would have been pretty impractical. Knowing that it was going to get dark soon, and thusly also colder, the group ended up walking down a nearby trail that Melissa had pointed out. And it seemed like, the further that they got down the trail, and the more that they weren't finding anywhere that the trail led to, it really seemed like another fight was going to break out between Melissa and Barbara. Because remember, Barbara has the motorcycle, and she's not wasting gas driving the motorcycle along the trail. She might actually need that for an emergency, so she's pushing the motorcycle along. And because Melissa's older, she's had to get up on the motorcycle, so Barbara is also having to push Melissa's weight on top of the motorcycle. So it seems like a fight is about to break out between Barbara and Melissa over this, but Barbara's younger sister Lindsay cuts it off because she hears a weird creaking in the distance. They all follow it, and it's a gate, a metal gate that's just moving back and forth in the wind. And this gate led to a little settlement out there in a clearing in the middle of these woods. But something seemed a little bit off about this town, this settlement, whatever you want to call it, and it's that there weren't any visible lights on in any of the houses. Now, it wasn't exactly nighttime, but it was close enough to dark that they would either turn on some lights or light some candles or something, but there was just nothing. It seemed like the town just didn't have anybody in it. So they go to the biggest house, and Jason goes in first, being the main adult of the group, and he looks around, he doesn't see anything, everyone comes in. And Aaron and another Aaron push a bookshelf against the door so that it stays closed and the wind doesn't blow it back open. And yes, there's two Aarons, there's two different spellings. One of them is a guy who is the son of Shannon, who left the group earlier, and the other one is a girl. Barbara and another friend, Kara, they go upstairs to look for, supplies for them to be able to use for the night, because the plan is not to stay here, it's just to use this as shelter to get through the snowstorm that's about to blow in. And as everyone is scoping out the rest of the house, all of a sudden they hear a scream from upstairs. Kara has just screamed, and it's got everyone's attention. Everyone rushes up to where Kara and Barb are, and they stop. And what they find is horrifying. Barb and Kara had walked into the master bedroom looking for blankets and whatnot for them to be able to use for the night. And on the bed in the master bedroom is seemingly the owners of the home laying in their bed, completely stone dead. The bodies of the two people who lived in this home are just in their bed, decaying, they're bluish gray, they've been dead for a while. Guy Aaron manages to start a fire while everyone else comforts Kara. She was the one who walked into the room first. She had a much more visceral reaction to the situation than Barb has. Barb is still a little shaken up, but she's able to keep herself a little bit more held together. Jason, after this, he went out to search the rest of the town, and when he came back, he said it's the same thing in every house. Every house is just people who went to sleep and never woke back up. Now, obviously, the natural inclination would be to leave. You don't want to stay in a place like that. But it's impractical to do that. They would basically be signing their own death sentence by going out in the middle of the night while a snowstorm is coming in. So, as awful as it is, they have to stay the night in a house that they are sharing with dead bodies. So, as insensitive as it might be, they realize that they're going to have to take some of the supplies that are there. After all, they need them a lot more than the people who are dead need them. So Jason goes out and he does another sweep of the land to see if there's anything else that they could possibly use from one of the other houses. Barb and Girl Aaron, they head out of the house and they go and they find this tool shed. In this tool shed, they find a big old tractor. And as big as the tractor is, it's still pretty impractical. It's probably not going to be good for driving through the woods with. And also, it's not going to be able to have all members of their group riding it through the woods. However, further into the tool shed, they find a trailer. And they're like, oh, we can hook that up to Barb's motorcycle in the morning whenever we go to leave. Okay, cool. There's a bit of good news. Back inside the house, Melissa has started going through the books and is trying to just give them something to, entertain themselves as they try to get through the night. Meanwhile, Lindsay and Kara have gone and they're trying to find food. And they go and they find a bar. There's a little private bar in the back room of this house, and Lindsay's a little bit off-put by it because she knows Jason is suffering with his alcoholism. And so they keep on digging further, and they do find another back room to this place that stores more alcohol, but also some canned food. This room also has a cellar door that is locked, and they don't really pay it any mind because they already found food. It might just have more alcohol, which is going to be even worse for Jason, and they don't have the key anyway, so it's not really much of a need to find a way to unlock it, and they're not planning on staying, so they don't pay any mind to the locked cellar door. The book that Melissa picked up to read for entertainment is actually the journal of a man named Bart. Bart was the head of the household that they're staying in, and also the person leading the settlement. She describes him as being sort of a clever man and sort of a natural inclination for leadership, and he was the one who decided that him and his friends would create this settlement away from the big city so that they could just have a simple, isolated life. Unfortunately, as far as Melissa read that first night anyway, the book didn't really detail anything about, what caused the town to all go to sleep and never wake up. The original plan was going to be to wake up just at the break of dawn. They were going to hook up the trailer to Barb's bike, and they were all going to pile in and be on their way. But with the exhaustion of the walking the day before, the situation with Shannon, and just the general negative atmosphere of the place they were in, no one was really excited to do anything. And also, Jason was supposed to wake them up, and unfortunately, during the night, Jason downed about 3 bottles of the alcohol because he found his way to the bar. So, with everyone up, they start making the preparations to leave, but something's clearly wrong. They're sluggish, they're asking, what is even the point in going? We're really tired, we should just stay and sleep a little bit longer. And it's just really a weird situation. The only two who are not really negative at the moment are Lindsay, who is sort of heading her friend group, and Melissa, who is still reading the journals. But they're like, whatever. Despite the fact that we're all tired, we're all just not in a good mood, they get the trailer hooked up to the bike, and just as they go to start getting ready to leave, one of the tires pops. The trailer's tire just and this is kind of the last straw for Jason. He's just had it. He goes back inside back to the bar, and he's done. Now, I hadn't really talked about the altercation with Shannon all that much yet, and why it's so difficult for everyone to deal with. Well, even though Jason and Shannon have known each other for 20-something years at this point, there was still a lot of mystery about Shannon that Jason just didn't know about. So much of what Shannon talked about, it was either lies or half-truths, and he kept so much stuff from people that he was supposed to be close with, and he never really knew how to deal with being confronted about it. And so that's why he had a flight response and just took off whenever they first confronted him about an issue that came up the day before. That issue is about something that's been on Lindsay's person this entire story, and that is a golden lamp. After a little bit of interrogating, Shannon eventually revealed that this lamp is a bad luck charm. It has an aura of bad luck around it, and just it affects probability in a negative way for anyone that has it. And that's what set Jason off. It's like, you've been carrying this thing that has been burdening us, and now you're only just now telling us about it. And so Shannon left, and they've still had it this entire time, because it's like, well, if we're going to confront Shannon with it later, we should still have it at the very least. But with all of the negativity going around and things going wrong, the groups decided, you know what, we should just get rid of the lamp. We should just toss it down the well or something. And Lindsay's not entirely sure about this, but the exhaustion is starting to finally get to her, so the others are able to persuade her, and just as she goes, she takes it over to the well, she looks at it, and she looks down at the well, and she sees red eyes staring right back at her. It terrifies her, and she drops the lamp. Now, to be clear, Lindsay didn't really want to drop the lamp. It's just she got persuaded into it, and as soon as she dropped the lamp and got scared, it snapped her out of it, and she suddenly became sober again, and she's like, oh crap, I did not mean to do that. I need to go down there and get that. Additionally, the lamp being gone down the well has not changed anything. Everyone is still negative, which means that the lamp probably has nothing to do with everyone's bad mood the way that they probably think that it does. So Lindsay, Kara, Girl Aaron, and Barb, they all head down into the well, while Guy Aaron stays up top to fix the tire. They're down there in the underground sort of waterway beneath the village, searching for the lamp, and they have their flashlights on, and they're like, oh, this isn't working. Wait a minute. The lamp has its own glow. The outside metal bits are golden, but it has a cyan glow to it, so if we just turn the flashlights off, we can just follow the glow, wherever that may be. So they do that, they see the glow in the distance, Lindsay runs off to get it, she rounds the corner to it, picks it up, and then notices yet another horrifying sight. Around the corner in the underground well system was a huge number of these almost human-like creatures, but they were way too tall, and they were decrepit and skinny, and their bones were jutting out of their pitch-black bodies, and she is horrified. She sees them, they see her, she screams, and it snaps the other three out of it. And so they all run, they try to get away, and they're not defenseless. They actually all have some sort of firearm on them, but whatever these creatures are, there's an aura about them, and it makes them feel that negativity that they've been feeling ever since they entered the village. And so every time they try to pull their weapon to fire back, their weapon is too heavy. They're running, and they find that Melissa has come down into the well to help them out. So she's like, we gotta go this way, we gotta go this way. She's guiding him through all of these underground tunnels, and we can see that some of the people from the village had ended up in the tunnels with these things, because there are full skeletons of dead people just down here. And obviously, whatever happens whenever you're closer to one of these things is a little bit worse, marginally. You're still dead, but you're a skeleton. Whereas the people up top, their flesh was rotting, but they still had their flesh, so clearly being closer to them is not the ideal option. Melissa is somehow able to guide them through all of the tunnels that are underneath the town until they eventually get to a cellar. With enough force, they're able to break through the cellar door, and it turns out that this was the locked cellar door that Lindsay and Kara had stumbled upon before. Barbara and Girl Aaron, they rush out to meet up with Guy Aaron to be sure that the tire is fixed and that the trailer is hooked up to the motorcycle so that they can leave. Well, Kara starts taking alcohol bottles and is throwing them at the cellar door, and then she lights a match and tosses it. It engulfs the cellar door and it engulfs the monsters. Jason was initially complaining about the fact that she was throwing the alcohol, but then he sees The creatures sees how horrifying they are and that they are immediately right there and could be a threat. It sobers him right up. They all get out of the bar, they get out of the house, they climb in the trailer, and they leave. And the house, it starts going up in flames, the creatures are burning, the dead bodies are burning, but the rest of them are safe and they've gotten away. Melissa explains that in all of Bart's journals, she was actually able to deduce what the directions were for all of the different tunnels that were underneath the town. As it turns out, the town had been hemorrhaging money towards the end of its life, and Bart didn't want the settlement to disband. He didn't want there to be any sort of infighting. He wanted everything to remain calm, and that's whenever he found out about these creatures, that their aura just mitigates extreme emotions. And so he lured a couple into the waterways beneath the town, and I was like, alright, cool, I'll seal that up tomorrow, and it'll all be fine. But not sealing it up immediately caused the rest of the pack to follow into the tunnel system. And the sheer amount of emotionless aura engulfed the entire town, and it caused them to eventually just lay down and die because they didn't have a drive to do anything else. In the journals, Bart labeled these creatures the apathy, and I am labeling this video both a Halloween and an April Fool's video at the same time. Because this is obviously not a true story. There weren't any creatures with emotion mitigating aura. There's no bad luck lamp. This was me giving a retelling of the Brunswick Farms arc from RWBY. I'm sure RWBY fans picked up on it fast. I mean, I don't know, I could have been telling a story and just replacing real names with the cast of RWBY, but no, I was just retelling the RWBY story, and I was using the characters' own voice actors' names to tell it. I don't know how fast you guys picked up on that. I don't know if there are any people that watched this thinking that it was going to be a real horror story and it's their introduction to RWBY, but hey, if it is, you should go watch RWBY. And RWBY fans, you should show this to your non-RWBY fans, because I think it would be funny. Yeah. How many non-RWBY fans are watching this video? I mean, that's most of this channel, and I feel like that's most of the recent subscribers. I think I'm overthinking it. Go, I don't know, sting the like button with sap or whatever it was I said at the beginning of this video. Bye.